Yo, nephew, hand me that Barstool. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time.
Welcome to 21st in Prime. Jamie Dukes, Rone on the wheels of steel. We ready to have it. NFL, Saturday Night Live, Ohio school.
No,
I'm on the rundown. I don't know what's going on, but sponsored by Heineken 0.0. Please let me get Heineken some love. 69 calories, zero. No. Is that right?
69 calories, zero alcohol.
Zero alcohol.
That's right.
Because it's been so good. It's football season has started, and football and Heineken are synonymous with one another, aren't they, Ron?
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely a must. I was at some tailgates, and not everybody drinks. I was with the camera crew, and not everybody was on the booze, but some of the guys were knocking back the Heineken 0.0s. And you know what? They serve them in a lot of restaurants. If you're going to your local burger spot, ask for a Heineken 0.0. I'm pretty sure you're going to like what they're giving you.
All right, before we go any further, Coach, so you trying to run past some stuff, and this ain't on the rundown, but the whole football world is talking about some story about, and Rome, maybe you heard this about Reggie Bush says that Deion Sanders would be the perfect coach for the USC Trojans. Did you read anything about that, Rome?
I'm the perfect coach for Jackson State.
I was talking to Rome. Excuse me, I was talking to Rome. I just asked Rone a question.
I'm the perfect coach for where I am.
I just was asking Rone a question. I mean, did you see what I saw, Rone? And then the Florida State, did you see what I saw, Rone?
I didn't see that. That is jarring information, but I believe, Coach, that he likes where he's at Jackson State.
Yes, I do.
Oh, man.
I love it. You know why I love it? Because I made a decision to come. I wasn't forced. I wasn't coerced. It wasn't no gun being held to my head. I brought my kids. That means I'm all in, and I'm happy. I really am.
Were you forced not to shoot anybody because the game was right there? Talk about the game, Coach.
We lost. We lost, and I'm not happy with that. But if I'm going to lose, let me lose the bout. Okay, I lost the bout. I lost a bout. You know, it's so funny that I wish there was a handbook, and there was a kind of a coaching handbook. Because they don't tell you a lot of things. Like, no one has sat me down and say, now, you know, when you run across the field to the coach, you're supposed to say this, or he says this, or this is how it's supposed to go. So it's always an awkward moment to me. Like, winning is everything, because you know the coach is running over to you mad, and he really don't want to be there in that moment. But when you lose, now you that guy that's running over there mad because you really felt like you should have won, and you really don't want to be there. So what do you say? But thank God it was a friend. And I just embraced Coach Bowden. I say, God bless you, man. You played a heck of a game. If I'm going to lose, I'd rather lose to you. But I don't want to lose. And that's what it was.
How does it go? What do you guys usually talk about? That's one of the things I'm most curious about.
It's quick. You just say something about a complimentary thing about the team that you just competed against. And it could be some personal as well to the coach.
Oh, yeah, I'm in love with your mother. And keep going.
Run off.
Something quick, Ron. Like that. Something like that. Yeah.
Because remember the one time Jim Harbaugh had a little bit of a run-in with Jim Schwartz? They were arguing. Does that ever happen and we just don't know about it?
It probably does, but you got to understand, like, I'm always mic'd. So everything I say is recorded, and I'm pretty sure that coach is probably mic'd too. I don't know if they have Barstool like we have Barstool.
No, they take their mics off. Remember, they always grab the mic kit and pack and all that stuff, so they always take that off.
But they take the headsets off.
It's off, but they're not mic'd like you, Coach. You're all access.
Yeah, so I'm all mic'd. So when guys are talking about what they want to go to the press conference after that and talk tough, when I just heard you, you know, I just had an encounter with you. You wasn't that guy right then. So that happens as well.
So, Coach,
so we had talk to us,
Ron.
Jamie.
No, go ahead, bud.
No, I want to talk about the NFL. I'm curious about what you guys thought about football this weekend. There was a lot going on. Jamie, I know you're specifically looking at the ratings, but for me, I was out in the field in Philly. I was out in D.C. checking out the games out there. And to the people, the NFL is back. A lot of people going tailgating for the first time. So it doesn't even matter to me what the ratings are saying. But Jamie, what were you seeing in the ratings?
Well, no, we'll talk about that later on. I think I want to talk about your Eagles and what you saw with your quarterback, or what did you see or what did you not see? See, there was a lot of fool's gold that happened this week, or was last week fool's gold. I can't tell, So, but since we were in Philly, what happened?
Yeah, it's overreaction season for sure. And I think we saw a lot of overreactions in week one, and people wanted to anoint teams like the Eagles and the Saints. And then we saw some teams kind of come crashing back to earth, like the Eagles and the Saints, two teams who put up incredible point totals. And then Jameis, a quarterback who we thought was going to be crushing it this year, fell back to earth a little bit. And Jalen Hurts, we're still seeing some growing pains from Jalen Hurts. But the 49ers are a good defense. That's a good team. They held them to barely any points. I was sad to see them lose. I get depressed when my football team loses. Like, I feel like...
I'm sorry, week two, I love what Buffalo did, because they upset you week one, losing to Pittsburgh, then they go and beat the brakes off the Dolphins. I like what the Dallas Cowboys did. Crushing loss week one, but they come up there and get a win with a field goal with time running out to let you know they're a really good team. And in some teams, go ahead.
So back in that Dallas game, so you do know the number one running back in that game was not named Elliott, right?
Right. That kid can play.
Tony Pollard is a beast.
Yeah.
That's a nice 1-2 punch. And you almost need a 1-2 punch, regardless of what they're getting paid. Tony Pollard is a nice change of pace guy.
No. There's no. That's like Deion and somebody else being great, and Deion's okay with somebody else being on the field, and Deion's making 7 times what the other guy's making.
It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. It's really gonna be a problem. Now, also, speaking of problems, the 2 young quarterbacks, first, second pick, they were horrible. They were horrible this past weekend. I think they threw 3 picks apiece, at least.
One had 4. The kid in New York had 4.
Yeah, so it might have been 4 apiece. It's some growing pains, and I'd like to see how these kids handle adversity. You got to understand. My kids were your coach's son. I'm a little different type of father than one of those that pampers his kids. But coach's sons is this, coach's sons is that. You play quarterback all your life. No one really talked hard to you or got on your butt about anything. You worked, but now you at the height of everything. This is probably your first time receiving criticism. How do they handle that? Are they able to respond to adversity and criticism, and the teammates looking at them kind of funny? I want to see if these 2 guys are able to handle that and bounce back.
Do you think that there's some sense that maybe they should have let these kids sit a little bit longer? Because sometimes I've
never sat on the bench and said, whoa, I got better that day. Wow, I really improved that. I really got better that day just sitting over here watching. No, you got to be in it, man. You got to be in it.
But one of the things – go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was going to say quickly. I'm saying I think – and I'm asking you as the coach here, is part of the problem they're throwing too much for these young guys and not looking at – they're
going to throw because they're going to be losing. So you knew this going in. When you have a losing guys that throw for 5,000 yards, except for that freaking Kansas City, Mahomes. Guys that throw 4,000 or 5,000 yards, they're normally losing, or they, putting it up every darn play. They're losing. They got to make a comeback at the end. So they're throwing the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game. These kids, it's tough because they don't have good teams. That's why they're drafted first and second overall. But it's going to be tough because they don't have a real running game either. Because if you had a great line, you wouldn't be drafting first or second. So you don't have a running game to substantiate, to offset that at all. So you're going to have your back pressed up against the wall for a long time.
A lot of quarterbacks get thrown to the fire so early, and it's almost like it's this churn and burn with quarterbacks. And I'm thinking specifically about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is 2-0 right now with the Panthers, and it is overreaction season. But if Sam Darnold can progress as a 25-year-old, I don't think people should say his career is done, but that's how they acted on the Jets. They acted like, okay, he hasn't delivered in the 3 years since he's been drafted. Let's go draft another guy with the top 5 pick. And some players, it might take a little bit longer for them to grow into who they are, and their situation might have to be a little bit better. It looks like he's in a little bit better situation for himself.
You know what? You know what the difference is? It's no expectation. When you're in New York, first of all, New York, period, is expectation. Or you're the number one guy. Forget Jacksonville. You're the number one pick. There's expectation. Sam Darnold is in Carolina. Ain't nobody care about Carolina. Ain't nobody expecting them for Carolina. Carolina's like expected to be besides the Falcons, they're the worst team in that division. So ain't nobody expecting nothing.
What do you mean besides the Falcons?
The Falcons are the last worst team in the division, but it's a toss-up.
How?
Really.
How?
And that, what you mean how?
No, I know they are. How, why and how? What happened that it all died? Why are they?
We don't have that long on this podcast for to explain how and why, but they don't expect nothing. So he can meander through the season doing what he's doing. He's not. The light is not shining on him. Doesn't have to win. He's not the star of the team. McCaffrey is that guy. So all he has to do is just do his job. Do his job, and he is succeeding with less pressure on him, and I like it.
Yeah, another person who's going through that is Teddy Bridgewater, being able to just be himself out in Denver. The defense is carrying the team a little bit, a really good defense that they have there, but he doesn't have the pressure. Denver doesn't have everybody with their eyes on them. Not everybody is breathing down his neck. He has a chance to kind of be himself as a quarterback a little bit. I'm curious. Another team I was impressed by was the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans were pretty much written off after the first week. And even early on in the game, people are saying the Titans' offensive line is garbage. The Titans can't do this and they can't do that. But they came back and won against a very good Seahawks team in Seattle. They came from behind.
But Seattle can't play defense, first of all. They were the worst defense, one of the worst defenses last year. And here's my problem with Tennessee. Are we going to always have to have 175 yards out of the running back for the quarterback? Yep. Is that how we have to always do it?
That's what they've been doing for the last couple of years.
No, I know that's what they've been doing, but I'm just saying, but is that how
why would we expect anything different? If that's what they've been doing, that's what works for them.
Right, but that won't work for them to get to that dude you call the freak, though. That's my point. In other words, at some point, same thing with the young man in Buffalo who I really like. To me, that position's got to be able to carry you now. Then not that you going to carry, but can carry you.
Buffalo is built different than what you're talking about with Tennessee. Tennessee is built on that grown man that's running through everybody named Derrick Henry. That offense is built around him. I know they have 2 Pro Bowl caliber big Mandingo warrior receivers out wide, but it starts with him. Week 1, what they try to do? Feature those other guys. What happened? You got your butt kicked. Mm-hmm. Week 2, they say, you know what? We got to go back home. Let's go back and get his ball to this grown man back here that everyone is scared of once he get in the secondary, and they did. And they won.
And it was in the second half, too. He had more than 100 yards in the second half. They were down in the first half, and they said, you know what? We do have a 6'4" freak that plays running back for us. We might as well try and set the tone. And they need to do that early before they get down so they don't have to resort to a passing offense. They have more options if they go to that running game earlier.
You know, I saw something in the game, and I don't know many – I've never seen anybody do this actually before. The quarterback for the New England Patriots, the new kid. First of all, you know, I'm not impressed with Matt Jones. I'm not impressed with he's doing anything exotic, anything like that. But he's managed.
Go ahead.
He's playing he's doing well in the situation. He's protecting the ball. He's moving the offense. It's efficient. It looks like an offense that they want to run. But he scored a touchdown, and They tried to give him the ball back. Did you see what he did?
He gave it right back.
He gave it right back. He would not. His first touchdown, he would not take it. He would not take it. He was like, I'm good. I plan on having many more, so ain't no sense in making note of this. But I just thought that was like, wow, that's interesting right there.
It was.
Yeah. I respect it, but that wouldn't be me. I'd be like Emmitt Smith. I'd be keeping every ball I ever scored with.
It wouldn't be me either. Somebody once told me, won't you act like you've been here before? Why are you doing all that dancing in the end zone? I say, the fact that I'm dancing let you know I rehearsed for this, that I knew I was going to get here.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, and I wasn't saying that for that particular purpose. I just found it was very interesting there. Yeah. Speaking of what, I was looking at a report, and this is where that media, see, Rone, there are the media bias situations where people like people, and they always kind of show through. So I'm sitting there looking at
Coach. What are you doing with the fly swatter? What's going on with the
flies, man? These flies flying around here with helmets on.
You got a whole tennis racket on.
Yeah, it's a shocker. It shocks him.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, man.
That's what that is.
He's got the taser on the tennis racket.
Oh.
We'll get one in a minute. You're going to hear it.
My bad, Jamie. I interrupted you. I just wanted to see why he looked like Roger Federer in there swinging that thing around like he was about to serve a backhand.
Ron, I was good at this. They called me John Blackenrope when I was growing up. I just want you to know that.
Was being a lefty, the spin, was that a problem, like playing against a lefty?
No, just I could get everywhere on the court. I was really, really good. John Blackenrope.
I like that. Jamie, what were you saying, though? My bad.
No, so I'm I read a headline on the 49ers game, and the headline is that whatever the quarterback's name does a great job of leading his team, leading the 49ers to victory.
Garoppolo, you mean?
Yeah, him. Yeah. They scored 17 points. How are you leading anybody anywhere? They scored 17 points. And so 1 minute you score 41 week. Point being is, other than I know that Debo fella is a grown man playing wide receiver. He's a grown man. Mm-hmm. Who are the 49ers?
49ers are the team that was 1 year removed from being in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you heard that?
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, do that again. Yeah, I got something for you.
Hey, Booze, we got to get a replay of that. Check out the
smell it. I can literally smell it that he got.
What's it smell like? What's that, a brisket smell?
Burnt fly. It smells like burnt fly.
Smell like chicken?
No, we always said, black folks always said it tastes like chicken, well, no matter what it was. It could be a horse. It tastes like chicken. Yeah, it smells like burnt fly.
Oh, man, that was badass. We saw it live. We saw it all live in the flesh.
Big win for the kid from Baltimore. That's a huge, looking for a contract, playing his contract situation right. They say, hey, look, contract will take care of itself. Now it's time to finish out the contract, though, Coach. They got to get that contract done this week.
Yeah, but where do you start?
Wherever everybody else is. Pick 40.
That's a little different now.
4 years, 40. 4 years, 40 is where you start. Watson,
let's just get this straight. Okay. I want the guy to get paid. I believe he should get paid, but he's a different type quarterback now. He's a different type. I got to admit that. Dan and Dave been on my butt about Lamar Jackson, and I've been praising Lamar Jackson in his corner for years because I always say he got MVP. They don't just give away those. And when they're throwing up all these other quarterbacks, and I'm like, he has the MVP. Okay. But there's a but. With his style of play, is 40, 45, whatever million it is, are you going to do that with his style of play?
Yes, for 3 years.
Do we expect longevity in his style of play?
4 years. It's a 4-year contract where we're saying we probably get 3 out of that. Leave it right there.
So you're going to give up 120?
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving up the 3. So is it 97 guaranteed with the 120? I don't know.
No, what
you see what I'm saying? Is it 112 of the 100? I mean, I don't know what that number is of the guarantee, but we know it's 3 years, right? You can use Patty Mahomes' contract. Use that.
I bet on the future, Jamie. I don't bet on the present. if I'm gonna pay, I'm gonna pay for what I'm gonna get, not what I've got. I'm not. See, it's the difference of paying, Rone, in this game. Some people get paid for what they've done. Some people get paid for what they're gonna do. You got to figure out which one we're doing. Is it for what you've done or what you're gonna do?
3 years. To me, it's got to.
But he's not going to take a 3-year contract. He's seen the quarterback, all these other quarterbacks. He's not taking a 3-year contract. He's not going to be okay with that.
No, it's not about taking a 3-year contract. It's what you put in the money is for the 3 years. That's what teams normally do. Teams don't ever really plan on paying nothing outside of 3 years. They might have 10 years, 7 years, and all, but the numbers that they're guaranteeing are based on a 3-year window.
Well, quarterbacks, it's a little longer. Quarterbacks a little longer.
But Deshaun Watson only got a $140 million extension. Those other guys from 2 years ago when Jared Goff and also the kid who used to be Rone's quarterback got their extensions, they got 3-year extensions. So that's
gone.
No, but I mean, but the window, in other words, here's where the market is now. It seems like the teams it's a 4-year window-ish that they're doing with the money with these quarterbacks, is all I'm saying. That's the precedent that's being set. It's either a 3-year extension or a 4-year extension that they're doing at this point.
If I'm his representation, I want it now. If I'm the team, you're going to wait this out and let me see this season. If I'm his representation, I'm going to say this clearly. I want to get paid now because it's going to go up and up and up if you don't. If I'm the team, show me.
You got to look at Sam Darnold. You have to look at Carson Wentz, and you have to look at Jared Goff too. All guys who were top picks. All guys. I mean, Sam Darnold didn't get paid, but the other two got paid, and then they wound up traded within a year or two of getting.
But
paid.
He's outperformed all of them. First of all,
he has. I agree.
He's outperformed all of them. Secondarily, he's his own agent, so keep that in mind, Coach. He did his first contract.
No, he and his mother. His mother.
Well, but there was a lawyer. I'm sure.
You know darn well that boy ain't going there and do his own contract. We can sugarcoat this all we want to. That didn't happen.
They did their own contract to save the money.
Yeah, the family did.
The family did. Just
there you go.
But
Mama,
in that,
God bless Mama.
Yeah, in that process, there's $100 million you pay him with no problem. Just like you got everybody else on the 3. There's no scenario where from Dak to
what I'm saying, Jamie, you got to answer the question. If you're the kid, I want it now. If I'm the management, you gonna earn this during the season. I'm gonna see this. I'm not gonna get on this roller coaster up, down, up and down. First week was okay, a little shaky. Second week, a little shaky, but you won. So I got to figure this out.
I think that it's so hard to find a quarterback. And when you have one, it's such a precious commodity that I think that the Ravens are going to wind up paying him. And maybe it's a risky deal because he is such an injury risk. But what's your other alternative? To try and find somebody else and go back?
Why is he an injury risk? Why is he an injury risk?
The way he plays the game.
Well, here's what I'm saying. It's just like Warwick Dunn. They always talk to you, little guy. When you know how to play the game and protect yourself, when I watch him play, he does a great job of protecting himself. Show me the tapes where he's getting smashed. When you're on that speed,
this is the difference. You're 100% correct. This is the difference. If this guy over here gets hurt, I don't have to change the whole darn off accommodate this guy. The next guy up. Tom Brady goes down, 40, 50 million, whatever we're paying him. The next guy that comes in, he's not Tom Brady, but I don't have to change the whole darn offense to accommodate. Lamar Jackson goes down. That's it.
That's correct.
That whole thing it's a wrap.
That
whole thing is over. So that's a little different risk. Is that's all we're talking about? But you're right. He does a great job of protecting himself. He's been playing this style of football all his life, so this is all he knows. So the little injuries that other quarterbacks would sustain, he don't sustain those because that's who he is. He's a dog.
No, he's an advanced player. He's advanced, and he's advanced just like our good friends over at Chevy, and just like that Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Coach, I know you know all about that Chevy Silverado.
I love it. Love him dearly. Sponsored by Coach Prime. Coach Prime. They're the sponsor for Coach Prime.
But you sponsor him right back. Yeah, it's a reciprocity because it's strong, it's advanced, it's dependable, it's hardworking, just like the people that drive them. It's a big, bold, commanding design. The truck turns heads, and it's a partner with grit and determination. Anything's possible in that Silverado. I saw you driving one down in Mississippi. It looked absolutely incredible. Tailgating, hauling, towing, off-roading. If it's moving day, if you're going on a road trip, you use the Chevy Silverado. It's a no-brainer. You need to make sure that the Silverado is the truck for you. It's the strongest, most advanced Silverado of all time.
Hey, Coach, the Buffalo Bills are requiring, it looks like, fans to take vaccinations. Obviously, safety is important. How do you process that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. First of all, they played last year without him. Okay, so they're saying, okay, we're going to still make our money. We want you to be a part of it, but we're going to still make our money. That's what these pro teams are saying. They're going to still get it. Now, allowing you to come in is a whole nother level. But what they don't want is you to come in and pack the house, and then a third or quarter of the crowd comes up with COVID. Now, you know what that does to a crowd the week thereafter or the week after that stunts your growth, that stunts your consistency, stunts everything. So in their progress to try to not allow that to happen, they're saying we're going to take all fans to vaccinations. Ain't nothing wrong with that to me. That's what you do in business. That's what you do in business.
But that's never would fly in the SWAC, though, in the MEAC.
No, they just won't come. They won't come.
I think that
they're ready to come now. You gonna give them a reason not to come?
I think that it's not a right to go to football games. It's a privilege to go to football games. And I think that the same way fans have their right to not take the vaccine if they don't want to, I think businesses have the right to have their own rules when they come in. I think it's a different type of liberty, but we're afforded both of those liberties in America. So I don't personally have a problem with it.
But it's just that just seems so odd, though. I mean, I'm not saying you're not.
You can't have a problem with somebody doing business. That's all it is business. Like if you're a restaurant owner, you have a choice. I'm gonna serve you or I'm not gonna serve you.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So what's the difference? You're talking about 70,000, 80,000.
Because the difference is because you're establishing a classism, if you would.
No, you're establishing procedure.
That too. But it's because someone doesn't see the worldview the way somebody else sees the worldview about their self. Because we have to be honest too. I mean, there's while they're rare, there's a lot of side effects and residual things that people are experiencing that are causing the slowdown. So, and all I'm saying is I'm not saying anybody's being vilified, but there's an implied vilification here for not complying. I get the team for sure. I get the team.
Game. You know what?
No, that's true. No,
if you're sensitive, don't come.
It's true though. Like these are yeah. I mean, I have friends who are vaccinated. I have friends who aren't vaccinated. It's a personal thing, but it's like if you are the Buffalo Bills, there's not a ton of downside to doing this. And if people want to get into the game, they're going to get into the game one way or another. Like if we're being honest with ourselves, people are going to make their way in there. I got a question about an interesting story I saw though coming out of Ohio. It was on barstoolsports.com where I saw the story. But there was a high school football coach in Ohio that after the game, he moved the vending machine in front of the referee's locker room so he could give them some time to think about what they did. He didn't like the calls that the referees were making, so he basically locked them in their own locker room with a whole vending machine. And I mean, it's a hilarious story. If you're a ref, it's probably a little bit less funny. The coach, who was an assistant, got suspended for one game. Should he have been handled tougher, or have there been times when you've wanted to put the vending machine in front of the referee's locker room there?
Well, I'm not built like that. I could never do nothing malicious like that to another man. Now, I want to know who told. That's who should have been suspended. Who told? because they had to come and find out who did this, who told. I'm sure the coach ain't saying, "Yeah, it was me." No, we need to find that. That's who should have been suspended. Whoever told on the coach. It's hilarious to me. It's comical. It's hilarious. It's serious. I would expect something like this to happen in Texas because Texas high school football is crazy. But this is hilarious. Really, it really is funny.
But as a coach, I do want to. I'm curious. Okay, you've been a player and had that relationship. I mean, you've always had great relationship with the officials. But as a coach now, how different is that? Because see, nobody ever had to answer to you. Now every single play, you either have to work a coach, work a referee, or comment on a referee. So what's that like for you now?
It's no working a referee. That's you could do that probably in basketball more so than football. It's nothing like that. They come in, they give you everyone's names, and then they come up to you before the game and introduce themselves. And I'm always pleasant and always treating those guys nice because I know what they're up against. We had some questionable calls in the last game. And I said, guys, now, when you watch film tomorrow, you're really going to get criticized for a couple of calls you guys made. So on this call right here, in this particular call, you really need to take your time and see this one through. And they, not that they took my word for it, but the call was overturned. It was like not a roughing, but a targeting that they overturned and we didn't get penalized. But sometimes I go the pleasant route. You're not going to gain nothing from yelling and screaming at these guys. You're not whatsoever, especially if it's on television as well. And you're belittling another person on television. You're not going to gain anything by that. I choose to go the kind route.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough year for referees, especially when you look at the new taunting rules in the NFL. We're 2 weeks into the season, and we've already seen some questionable taunting calls. I saw one yesterday where a player spun the ball after a first down reception. He didn't even necessarily do it at anybody, but he got a taunting call. Is it hard on the refs? Is the rule too far? Or
you don't know what he
players
said. What did he say? If he spent the ball and said, "Yeah, now you mother," you don't know what he said because we're not out there. And unless they focus in on his mouth and the language, what he said, oftentimes the tauntings don't just come from the action. It comes from what's articulated during the action.
Speaking of that, we love Michael, but I have a bone to pick with Michael Irvin, and it's because so the only time you can hold it up right is when you're going in the end zone, right? The only time you can high step, right, Coach, is if you're going to score. Is that correct or incorrect?
Nah, I don't know about that one. I don't know if people choose to do that.
No. You set the rule. You the Nosferatu here. You set the rule. When you
can do it, but
I ever saw you high step was when you score, when you intercepted the ball and you were getting ready to score.
No, I've high stepped to try to set somebody up on a cutback.
No, I've seen that, but that's more scissor kick Walter Paytonish to me,
right?
Than when you started the dance for the celebration.
Right.
So my problem was when Mike started getting the first down. Now every single person who gets 2 yards, 3 yards, you can't do that if you just got 2 yards. You ran a 3 yard out. You can't do that.
If it's a first down, you can't.
You can't do it. You can't do it for a 2 yard route, bro. You can't.
If it's a first down,
come on.
The signal is he's showing everyone it's a first down.
I saw a safety from the Eagles yesterday. They were they were down 11 points, and he made a tackle after a 6 yard run, and he was getting up flexing. You can't flex after a 6 yard run after 11 down 11. Yeah, that's no good. But first down, you can get your little thing off on a first down, a little shimmy, a little dance off on a first down. Yeah. Freddie Mitchell used to have the Fred X he would put on the belt. That was a nice little. He had the Fred X. That was nice.
Freddie's one of those guys we need to do a way he at. Not where is he now. We need to do a way he at. I haven't seen or heard from him in years. It's some guys that you just hadn't, like Priest Holmes. Where is Priest Holmes?
I think he's preaching I believe he's preaching in Kansas City.
So he took the Priest thing serious then.
I believe something like that I've heard. I think he's in the Kansas City area.
Man, good dude, good brother. Love him, man.
He put up 2,000 one year, didn't he? Didn't Priest Holmes have 2,000 one year?
Yeah, Priest Holmes was a dog, man.
Yeah. Well, he put up 2,000. I think was all-purpose yards. That's what he had. Was that the rushing and receiving. Hey, Coach, I got to tell you a real sad story. I just kind of want to hear what you guys think about both you guys. Story out in the Potomac. There was this guy. He was out on the boat, and his younger brother, was in the water, there to drown. And, he sat there and watched him, and he was drowning. And the guy just sat there and watched him. And the guy was saying, can you help me? He watched him drown. And so I was wondering why Ron Rivera wouldn't take the hand of Cam Newton and pull him into the boat.
So you're going to hell for that one.
What?
You're going straight to hell for that. I really thought, you had me. Like, I really thought it was the dude drowning, and the dude chose not to jump in because he would risk drowning as well. You put it straight hell with barbecue draws on. Barbecue sauce on your draws.
Chris Mortensen says that, Ron Rivera ain't signed. He didn't say he wasn't signing. It was like hell would have to kind of freeze over without saying it before Ron Rivera would give Cam a chance to be quarterback. And I asked the question to say, just from what happened? It's one thing. They won a lot of football games together.
Yeah, but you got to end well. It's like any relationship, Jamie.
Yeah.
You got to end well. When you look back over your shoulder, you had some tremendous times with your exes. Rone, we pray to God that you're not in on this conversation years to come.
Yes.
We all have wonderful times. You brought some beautiful children into this world, but it didn't end right. If it don't end well, how are we going to continue? We can't continue if it don't end well. And from what I've heard,
that's what I'm getting to. So what happened?
I've heard, it just didn't end well. It didn't end well. What I've heard.
And honestly, one, he can't be a backup because everybody's going to be wondering what's going to happen and when is he going to start. And two, Taylor Heineke played well. He threw for over 300 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns. He showed that he's competent in managing this offense. It doesn't seem like that's the right situation.
Listen to the word you use out of your own mouth. That's like savvy receiver. That's like, you said it. You don't hear it when you say Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. You don't ever say manage the offense. When you've talked about Cam Newton over time, you've never said manage the offense. And out of your own mouth, that's the point. Is that here you are early in the season, and this guy is not somebody who manages anything. He's had success at some level running an offense.
Ask your question, Jamie. Is Cam still that guy? You got to answer that question.
I don't think. I think he can be that guy.
Is his best days behind him, or
yes,
is his best days right now better than the kid that they have? And is his character? Will it be rock steady inside that locker room and keep everyone and raise everyone's level of expectation or game up?
What are you saying, Coach?
What I'm saying is, would he be an asset or a liability to you more than the kid that they have now?
You mean, but that locker room thing? What are you saying? I heard you say. What are you saying about the locker room situation?
You don't want to divide the locker room. I saw their best player. The DN, the one that went, I think he was second overall, right?
Chase Young.
Chase Young. I saw Chase Young talk about this young kid who's their quarterback now, Heineken. 0 calories, zero alcohol. 0 alcohol, 69 calories.
347 yards, right. Yeah.
There you go. He was praising that kid. Like he wanted that kid to get his opportunity, and that kid got his opportunity, and he was all behind him. You don't want to distract that. Your best player is talking about this young man getting this opportunity. This young man has done nothing but work, and finally he's on the field and he's making plays. You don't want to disrupt that in any ways. So you got to really evaluate, is this kid's upside, could that go higher than where Cam is right now? That's the evaluation you got to make.
And at the same time, does Ron Rivera have the responsibility, just because he coached him once, to give him a lifetime pass to be on any team that he's on? It's like, if you worked for someone one time, does that boss have the obligation to hire you at every step? I don't think that he necessarily does.
No,
you don't want to do nothing with the people you worked with before, do you, Jamie? The people you've been with before, you don't want to do nothing with them no more, do you?
Oh, you talking about relationally, or are you talking about
Well,
football team? Now, if the Falcons cut me a check, they cut you. They still Arthur might be still cutting you a check. I don't know.
I wish they were.
I'll take a check.
They'd be doing a lot better than they're doing.
From the Packers, I'll take a little something from them. Absolutely, I'd take a little something from the Falcons. I would take that from them. Or you referring to
give? What are you giving them? Because they're not going to cut your check unless you're giving them something. What are you prepared to give them, Mr. Dukes?
If they were looking for my services, I would be prepared to give them my services. But to your point, Mr. Coach Sanders, you asked the question, are Cam's days behind him? The answer is yes, strictly for one other reason. Cam was a type of player, and this really kind of goes back to, kind of brings it full circle to the conversation about Lamar Jackson. When you have a unique player, you have to build around that player's unique skills. That's what the Baltimore Ravens are doing. If Washington signed Cam, that's what they'd have to do. That's what Bill Belichick tried to do in New England around his talents, because his talents are unique and they're limited in some areas, but expansive in others. So that, but to answer your question, no, you don't build around somebody who's that age, and you have to move on, because you just don't build around somebody like that.
Before we get into anything else, fellas, I want to talk to you about another good friend of ours, the good folks over at Rone. Most guys have tried different ways to last longer, maybe thinking about baseball or listing off who's the starting quarterback, who's the backup quarterback, but it doesn't always work. The folks over at Rone who are an online health company, have made a way to change the game with Rone Swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. They're clinically proven to last longer. They're effective, easy to use, fast acting, and they can ship them to you in a discreet, unmarked packaging. Each Swipes package is small enough to hide in your wallet whenever you need it, whenever that time might come. So go to GetRoman.com/Prime. You can get your first month of Swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/Prime. When you're talking about Bill Belichick real quick, and I'll let you change topics after that, but you talked about Bill Belichick wanting to, like, what he tried to do with Cam Newton. And my sense was with Cam Newton was Bill Belichick was getting out of this long relationship with Tom Brady, a known pocket passer. And during that time, he saw the rest of the league getting these mobile quarterbacks. It's like seeing all your buddies, they're all like dating Latinas or something like that. And it's like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to date a Latina. And so he got himself a running quarterback, and maybe he realized that, it was too spicy for him, or it didn't wind up working out. But he had one thing for a long time. He wanted to try something else. It didn't wind up working out. And maybe that's an indictment of him, or maybe Cam Newton's just past his prime.
Well, here's the thing I would say, or ask the question. First of all, can we say Latinas like that and not offend anybody? Because are you supposed to say women of Latin descent? I don't know. I'm just saying everybody.
I think you can say Latinas.
Won't just leave the Latino people, and especially the ladies, alone. How about y'all do that?
I ain't got nothing wrong. Coach, real quick, before we get out of here. So I saw the story. So they're up to the iPhone 13. Now you have two iPhones. So what is your?
No, I'm a Samsung. I got a little bit of everything, man.
Okay, so one of them is a Samsung. Yeah. So what is your strategy, guys, about keeping up current with the phone?
I'm not built like that, because you when you talk about keeping up with something, you may have one new app, one thing. Heightened, like a camera phone or something. I'm not in phones enough to buy another phone for one new accessory. I ain't got time for that. Only thing I use is social media and tip calculator when I'm out at restaurants, weather. That's all I use, man. So I really don't use all that stuff that a phone. I don't even know half the options inside of a phone.
Yeah, I think that Apple is commodifying their phones to a point where you have to get the next one. You have to get the next one.
Oh, come on. Samsung does it too. Come on. Boy, whatever that is. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, everybody does.
Everybody's raping and pillaging, man.
But I don't jump with the next thing that comes out. You can ask my kids, because they know all my codes, all the passwords. I don't know how to do half the stuff on the phones anyway. So I don't jump when it's the 13. I don't remember when we got past 5.
Yeah, I think that I only want it when I like run out of storage or when my phone stops working. But I know that Apple used to be making phones that intentionally stopped working after a while. So I just
How do we know that, Rone? How do we know that?
This is sitting in my drawer right now. I don't know how long it's been in here. The Galaxy S21. Is this the new one?
The 21. That seems custom. That might be a custom one for you.
It's the new one. I haven't even used it yet. It's been sitting right in here. That's how up to date I'm not.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of 21st Prime. Coach, as always, it's on you, man.
You ain't gonna talk about the dude in his pants and went in the bathroom and tried to clean him out in Pittsburgh.
Let's talk about it later this week.
Okay, we can do it.
You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st.